Hey, good morning, guys. I wanted to go over the answers to chapters 7 through 11 on Tuck Everlasting. So if you'll get your study guides out, and if you don't have something like what my answer is, just add yours in, and I'll kind of do a little explaining as we go along. Chapter 7, number 1, who drank from the spring and who didn't drink from the spring, and why is it important? Well, all of the family members, May, Angus, Tuck, Miles, Jesse, and the horse, drank from the spring. But the important part was the cat didn't drink, and eventually the cat died. So everybody else and the horse did not die. So that was what they kind of started noticing. Something was a little different with that. Number 2, what did Pa, or Angus Tuck, do to the tree? He carved a T in it. And later on, he's going to come back and see that T, and the T will not have changed. And that's another clue about what is going on here. Number 3, what things happened to make the Tucks realize that something strange was happening to them? Well, there were several examples given. Jesse fell out of a tree and he landed on his head, which normally would have hurt him pretty badly. Pa got snake bit, which would have hurt him pretty badly. Jesse ate the poisoned toadstools. Now, toadstools are mushrooms, so normally that would probably have killed him. May cut herself very badly, and the horse got shot. So you could have put down any of those things that were clues as to the fact that something strange was happening. What did Miles's wife do and why? Well, his wife decided that he had sold his soul to the devil, and she took his 2 kids and she left him because there was no way to explain what was going on here, and so she thought that it was something evil. Number 5, why did Tuck shoot himself? Well, at the end of the chapter, he wanted to prove, or he wanted to test out their theory that something strange was going on. So he shot himself to prove that he couldn't die. Chapter 8, number 1, does Winnie believe the Tuck's story, and why? Well, at first, she finds it so incredible, she probably doesn't believe it because she doesn't believe in fairy tales, but then she kind of had reservations because she saw how sincere they were, and she saw that they all believed it, and they seemed to have proof, so she was kind of torn. No, she really didn't believe it, but then, yes, she could see that they believed it, and she wanted to believe in them. Number 2, how do the Tucks make Winnie feel? They make her feel special and important. They also make her feel more mature because they treat her as if she's a little more grown up than her mother and her grandmother did. Number 3, Jesse and Miles seem to feel differently about the fact that they're never going to die. What is the difference? Well, Jesse's younger than Miles, so his opinion is, well, hey, we might as well enjoy it as long as we can't change it. So he has kind of more carefree attitude about his plight in life. Miles is more serious. And he even makes the comment, I just think you ought to take it more seriously, because he lost his family. He lost those that he loved. And so he feels the pain of this life more than Jesse does. Jesse doesn't feel the pain. Jesse just feels all the fun that's going on. Let's see. Who was listening as the Tucks told their story? Well, we know. The antagonist in the story, the man in the yellow suit. Let's see. Which of these passages is like a simile? For they gathered around her like children at their mother's knee, would be the example of the simile. Remember, similes have like or as. Let's see, number 7, the graceful arms of the pines stretched out protectively in every direction. Being protective is a human quality in this case, so it would be personification. Chapter 9, describe the place where the Tucks live. It's plain, it's a word that we call homely because it's not very fancy, but it's homey. It's very comfortable, and it's near a lake, and it's kind of all tumbled up. There's stuff everywhere. The Tucks have lived so long that they don't concern themselves with keeping everything neat and clean all the time, and so it's kind of a reflection of how long they have lived. When Angus Tuck says, well then, seeing you know, I'll go on and say this is the finest thing that's happened in, at least 80 years. He means that they haven't had a visitor in 80 years, so it's a great thing for him to have a visitor. What is the mood at the end of chapter 9 when the stranger overhears what was said? The word ominous is the perfect word to describe this feeling, because at this point in the book, we know that probably something bad is going to happen, and the man in the yellow suit is going to be involved in that. So ominous means threatening, so something is threatening. How does Angus Tuck seem to feel about Winnie when he first meets her? Well, he's happy, he's glad, he's excited. He obviously loves children because one of the things that he carves is toys. Chapter 10, how is the Tuck's house different from Winnie's house? Well, Winnie's house is like a mansion, and it's really, really neat and pristine and clean and very proper. And of course, the Tuck's house we described as being pretty much opposite of that. It's untidy, cluttered, disarray. What are May and Tuck's jobs? May sews quilts and braids rugs. Tuck carves and makes dolls, wooden soldiers, wooden spoons and bowls and forks. And they make these things to sell them. What do Miles and Jessie do for their jobs? Miles is a carpenter and a blacksmith, and Jessie does whatever strikes him at the moment. He's worked in the fields, he's worked in saloons, he just kind of does what's called pickup work wherever he is and whatever he's doing. What do you think May means when she says life's got to be lived no matter how long or short? You gotta take what comes. Well, it just sort of means that they have to accept what's happened in their lives, whether they like it or not. Chapter 11, what are two unusual things about the way the Tucks eat? Well, they don't sit around the table like proper formal dinner, and they don't talk, and they don't use napkins. A little bit different from the way we eat. They just get about the idea of eating, and they don't worry about any socializing time. And plus, you know, you have to consider they've been together for so many years, and their lives are so contained in that one little place that they probably don't have a lot to talk about. Number 2, what is Tuck worried about? He said, I got a feeling there ain't a whole lot of time. And that, my friends, is an example of foreshadowing. The author is giving us little hints that something bad's probably going to happen. The pond's got answers. That is also an example of personification. So he's going to take Winnie out on the pond, and he is going to try to explain all of this to her. So this week you're going to read chapters 12 through the end of the book. So I'll probably put another video up in a couple of days and explain a few more things as it goes along. Bye. Enjoy your reading.